Hello everyone and welcome back to another Big Ambitions video. And today is a big one, so buckle up because we're about to go through all the changes that the Early Access 0.4 have brought us. So update 0.4, what does this mean for us? If you are on Steam, I highly advise you to go ahead and have a read through the changelog that was released today. And I'll also link this YouTube video in my description below in case you don't see it. It's a short 5-minute video and I think it does a really good job in showcasing all the changes that were done with this update. To summarize, the changes that were done with this update are more focused on the behind the scenes aspects of the game. Things like quality of life changes and tweaks to the existing businesses so the overall experience improved. So first things first, we have a new store, which is the electronics store. It's bringing us 6 new products. So you got a couple of phones, a couple of smartwatches, headphones, earbuds, product display table to showcase the new items. And it appears that it's requiring a higher level of security, which is normal and it's something that I've implemented in all my shops ever since the security update in 0.3. What I did see in the video, and it kind of changed the way I look at things, when they mentioned that this new electronics store needs to have, higher level of security, I saw that the cameras they operated were just specifically on top of the tables and nowhere else in the shop. So right here, you see, the whole middle of the shop where it's empty has no cameras, but they are focused only on the products. So this should be an eye-opener for all of us. Especially for me, since I've been covering the entire shop floor in security cameras, and with 1,000 square meters, I think you need about 12 cameras to cover every single area. And in most cases, you don't actually need to have cameras covering every single square, like one of these squares here in the shop, because you don't have products everywhere. So coming back to the update notes, we also have new items. So we have a water cooler, which can be used for employee demands. We have kebab, which is sold in fast food restaurants. Going on with the next one is cigar shelves. So there's balancing with less inventory and more customers per hour. Box of cigars now holds more. Original shelf is now a large cigar shelf. We have medium cigar variations and small cigar variations, which is nice to have because cigars were basically very boring. It was just the one. The checkout counters now have a right and left variation, which is awesome because this is actually something I was looking forward to. I never mentioned it because I thought maybe I'm just nitpicky, but in all of my shops that I have where I'm using a checkout counter and I'm having this kind of like mirrored image, like half of the store is in one side and then the other half is a mirror image, the checkout counters definitely ruin that whole aesthetic. So I'm happy to see that they've added this variation. Same goes for the executive desk and the coat check, and we also have some new variations for the sofas here. And of course, with the new water cooler, now the office employees can demand water cooler, and they can demand a higher variety of chairs and tables, which is not really something I'm looking forward to. I find these things for employee demands very tedious and, to be honest, not really that necessary. Like, it doesn't bring you as a player more immersiveness, in my opinion, of course, because it's one of those things that you put in once and then you forget about it. But you also have to spend some time to figure out which employee wants or has certain needs and add them in. I don't know, maybe it's just me. It's nice to have, don't get me wrong. I just wish that some of their efforts were directed elsewhere. But let's keep going. So the cleaners have been balanced. Previously, you didn't need a lot of cleaners to cover up the entire store, and you didn't necessarily have a lot of mess to clean anyway, so now this has been balanced, so you actually will be needing more cleaners for a larger building, where a smaller one will require less. So that's nice to have. Like I said, the whole theme of this is like back-end changes and optimizing the game for all of us, basically. Vehicle handling, a big one. I cannot tell you how many times I've crashed because you know, the controls to go left and right are so finicky and so sensitive that it's hard to keep your car in the same lane. So they've added this lane assist, which basically helps you keep the car in a straight line in a certain lane. So that's pretty awesome, and they have fixed several other bugs, none of which I've experienced, but of course is good to see. The healthcare negotiation has been also adjusted. So previously it was a pretty basic back and forth. You would call the hospital, ask them to give you a price for the healthcare program that you decided to get, and then one day later the hospital will come back with an offer. You could negotiate it, but the whole process was very stiff. And now they pretty much tuned this to be a little bit better and less annoying. We have emoji systems, which I guess is nice to have. So instead of relying on the chat boxes that appear above the customers' heads to address various issues or complaints about your shop, now you also have an emoji system that comes with this, which hopefully will give you a quick glance of what the general consensus is about the business. And according to this quick screenshot, it would be something that will be applicable for you as the player as well. Now, they focused a lot of time on some coding revamp, so office demands have been recalculated. So I'm just gonna read it from here. If the demand was 50%, it would take your current capacity and limit it by 50. So if you had 4 lawyers, you could get 2 clients, which didn't make sense, so they changed it. Now the demand is still a factor, but is calculated prior to your building's current capacity. So if you have 4 lawyers, you'll be able to get 4 clients per hour during busy hours. Of course, employee skill and pricing will still have an impact, but I think this is exactly what I've been experiencing in my recent videos regarding the graphics design firm that I had open, but I had to shut it down because it was bringing in no money. And of course, when I checked which of the office types of businesses are the best in the game, if you watched that video, you would have seen that none of them managed to make a profit, and they were all getting the same amount of customers, which to me was a sign that something is not right with the game. I wouldn't necessarily, I didn't feel like it was a bug, but I felt it was something that needed to be addressed. So I think this was the reason why when I pulled out the data from the game and I compared the regions between themselves, I saw the same exact number of clients and the same exact number of profits per day of week. And it's clear that this particular calculation they used to have was part of the reason. So hopefully all of you out there who are using lawyer offices and graphic design firms and web development agencies, if your game is based around those types of business, now hopefully you will be able to get more money out of it. Another big one is the customer behavior. So AI has been tweaked. Now when you enter a store, you finally already have clients in. You're no longer gonna be facing an empty store, which is great for immersiveness, from an aesthetic perspective, and some other smaller tweaks have into account the customers returning their shopping baskets to the original place instead of walking out with it. They no longer leave at midnight, which was an issue, and if a cash register closes, the customers will shift to a different cash register instead of leaving. Amazing again. This was something that was happening sometimes. And another very good one is regarding fast food and coffee shop employees. So now if a customer orders 5 burgers, for example, the employee will grab all 5 at once, which will help speed up the flow and be able to serve more customers. And here we have some optimizations in terms of graphics. So we have plus 20 FPS increase in some cases, especially at nighttime and in low performance machines. We have lowered VRAM and memory usage. Basically quality of life changes that address lower performance machines, and hopefully all of us will be able to play this game at a decent frame rate and a nice resolution. And now we're getting towards the end of this. So businesses have been balanced altogether. So clothing stores prices have been increased from the wholesale import-export companies, and customer flow has decreased. So yet again we are being hit with another nerf on clothing stores, and some other tinier things for the rest of the businesses. Nothing too worthy of mentioning in my opinion. And then, like I said, if you want to go more in depth and see everything that has been addressed, feel free to go on Steam and check this whole comprehensive list out. I'm not gonna cover all of it because we're gonna be here forever, but I think these are the main bullet points. TLDR, most of the changes were done at the back end of the system. There have been tweaks done to the AI, to the way the customer behaves, to the way the vehicles are driven. There's been some tweaks done to some businesses which had some problems before, like most of the office type businesses. Also some further nerfs on the clothing stores. And last but not least, we have this amazing new electronics store, which I cannot wait to get into. As always, thank you very much for watching. I hope this video helped you better understand the recent changes, and in the next episode we're gonna cover the new electronics store. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.